right into it. News items, the news items. Ken, why don't you take us first through news and what we're spinning this week?
Sure. So I have a follow up to what I know Billy mentioned this, I think, a few podcasts back about Anthrax and some studio updates. So Joey Belladonna's posted on his Instagram that he's now, I think it was this week, heading back into the studio in LA to record vocals.
Nice.
So that's pretty exciting, and he's all jazzed up about that. And then Scott was actually did an interview with John Wiederhorn of Guitar Magazine, and he just talked about the album, and he did state that they are looking at an early 2025 release, which is good to hear.
Great.
So Scott was quoted as saying that we want this record to really punch people in the face. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. He also went on to state that there are tons of riffs, grooves, and breakdowns that's going to contribute to a lot of old sounding moshing. So that sounds great. I'm looking forward to that. And just to follow up what Billy said, when one of his earlier news items with Charlie Benante talking to Metal Hammer, and then they stated that are having three new songs that are kind of different for the band. One of them is called Edge of Perfection, and apparently Charlie said he's been writing that song since COVID during a lockdown, and he said the melodies and the chords have really stuck with him.
Okay.
So there's going to be a lot of good aggression on the song. So it sounds like it's good from what I'm hearing here. It sounds fantastic. So I'm excited for this album. I can't wait to hear it. So hopefully that early 2025 releases like
Jen,
January, but I doubt it. I'm sure this probably won't come out till the spring, but you
wait.
never know. Yeah. So
Cool.
that's all I have for this week.
Okay, cool. I love hearing a punch to the face. I
That's what he said.
mean, that's a great teaser. And hopefully maybe in January they'll release a single. That would be wicked.
Well, they said they already have like 8 or 9 songs, I think 8 or 9 songs done, according to what he said.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, well, hopefully that's a good sign, but you never know. But I'm just gonna keep my fingers crossed that it's like early 2025. But we'll see.
Awesome. Awesome.
Cool.
Okay, Billy, what have you got?
I've got a couple of things. So on the news, one interesting item, people may have already saw it already, but Voivod, who we tend to talk about a fair amount, announced two shows they're doing with the Montreal Symphony Orchestra. So that's pretty cool. They're going to be on the stage with the complete full Montreal Orchestra, and it's where the orchestra plays, the Sal Wilford Peltier in Montreal. So that'll be really interesting. January 29th and the 30th of 2025. So it's still a fair amount away, but I went to buy a ticket and I got a ticket, but they're almost sold out.
Wow.
Or at least the day that I was buying was pretty much sold out. I was picking little like seats like left over on the edges. So it really sold out quick. And that's not the first time for Voivod. They actually, another big Montreal staple is the Montreal Jazz Fest. And so they actually went and did a couple of songs with like jazz instruments, playing with them Voivod tracks. And there's actually a live EP that Voivod put out. I have that. It's great, where you can actually hear it. So I'm sure we're going to actually get an album version of this orchestra stuff. So I think it'll be interesting. Probably not going to welcome the typical battle vest and black t-shirts into the Sal Wilford Peltier, but I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so that's for Voivod. And then again, kind of old school thrash here. So I'm excited about this. I've been spinning it quite a bit, the new single, Nasty Savage. So I think a lot of people remember that name.
Yeah.
A new single came out. It's called Schizoid Platform. So it's pretty cool. I've been spinning it. It's very old school thrash. The guitars are fantastic on it. The lead vocal is a bit interesting in the first 30 seconds. So it threw me for a bit. Like if that would have been the whole thing, it would have been a bit weird. But no, it's back to normal vocals through the whole song. So if you find the lead vocal a bit odd at the beginning, stick with it because that's just lasts like 20 seconds. So that album comes out on October 11th. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then while I'm on that topic, another new album or an EP. I know we all like this band, and Jim, you did a review. I'm not sure if for the Thrashcast or not, but Enforced are back already.
Wow.
But this is interesting with an EP. And so the EP is out on October 25th. It's called A Leap into the Dark. So I thought that was an interesting title. I didn't think anything of it. And then they have the first single out already. It's an EP, 3 new songs and 3 cover songs. So one of the new songs I wrote, the title track, A Leap into the Dark. You can get it everywhere. Give that a listen to because to me it's death metal. They're taking a stab at death metal, and in the covers, they're actually doing Obituaries, Deadly Intentions.
Oh,
Wow.
cool.
To me, I mean, I've only heard like 2 tracks from it already, but it's very, they went from their unique crossover thrash to getting really death. I'm sure it's just for an EP. The band's having some fun. So, but yeah, highly recommended that too. Those are the 2 albums I'm most looking forward to in October. Those are my news items. Are we doing spinning
Cool.
it or are we
Sure,
going
absolutely. Go ahead.
um, so something I picked up when I was in Montreal, I mean, I'm sure you can buy it anywhere, but I've been really digging this lately.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So Blitzkrieg's first album, A Time of
Yeah.
Changes, 1985. And as usual, High Roller Records, who do the best, like re-releases.
Yep.
This thing comes packed with like postcards and giant photos and you open it up as the whole timeline of the band. And but what was really cool about this, the High Roller version, is it actually came with a 10-inch
Oh,
vinyl
cool.
single of the actual first thing they released, the first single from 1981, 4 years earlier, called Buried Alive.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. And then even like the for the single, it's like unique, like cool,
Oh,
like colored, like
Oh, that's
blue vinyl. So
wow.
as always, like I mean, if anybody's looking for albums they don't have an original of, go to this company, to like High Roller Records. They do the best like vinyl reissues in the market by far. They're based out of Germany. And then really quick, I don't know, Jim, you may have showed this before. I don't know if you did, but this is the other thing I'm listening.
Yes.
So one is early 80s new wave of British heavy metal, and here I am with like super like aggressive death metal with Nile.
wicked.
So Nile, The Underworld awaits us all, released, I don't know, a couple months ago, but that'll be one of the better death metal albums of 2024.
Yep.
Awesome, awesome. Well, what I've got, I'll do what's spinning first. I picked up the new Satan CD,
Woo.
Songs in Crimson, which,
Nice.
Satan, wicked CD. It's definitely going to be on a lot of lists. It's getting I'm reading a lot of positive comments online. New wave of British heavy metal band that came back through Metal Blade Records, I think 2 albums ago. And their last album was, Earth Infernal, was absolutely amazing. And they just seem to be gaining momentum. There seems to be an appetite for it. And I mean, these guys are kind of, in my mind, a bit of a proto thrash and speed metal band too, back in the day. So, and on this album, you kind of get some hints of that as well. And I did a review on the album for, All Father. So check that out on the website there. And I mean, it's a wicked album, definitely worth picking up. And one I had ordered months ago on a pre-order, Luthero's Chasing Euphoria, which I had done a review on, I think back in February or March when it was released. I ordered it from Amazon. It must have sat in my order query for quite a while. And then it just showed up. So finally I got it. I mean, I've been spinning it digitally for the longest time. It is a phenomenal album. And I got to see them. They're a wicked band out of Hamilton. They're touring like crazy. They did a spring and early summer tour across the US and Canada with Raven. Now they're opening, I believe, for Stryker. I know, Billy, you saw them, I think, Saturday night, correct?
A little bit earlier than that, maybe Friday,
Oh,
Friday or Saturday. I don't remember. It's all a blur. There were a few shows.
and I got to see the live stream from the Ottawa show. They did it on YouTube, which was phenomenal. Sounded great. Man, just sounded like the crowd was into it. And I know they're set to go on tour, I think early next year or late this year, with Stormborn doing like a Great Britain. I know they're playing in London, so that's pretty cool. So that's what I've gotten in this week and what I've been spinning for my news thing. Just kind of more of a funny little kind of commenty thing I want to bring up with you two guys. So Stryper back in the news a bit. They released their album on Friday. Their newest album, When We Were Kings. But apparently, Michael Sweet's in the news again. He's quite angry over a review from a writer from like a music magazine that gave it 2.5 stars out of 5. So I read the review, and the review wasn't half bad, actually. He commented on how he liked the music part of it and past Stryper, and I didn't get the feeling it was kind of one-sided or anything. He just wasn't that pepped up about the writing. It was a very short review. He kind of only went into a couple of tracks, and it was very, very short. So I normally, when I like to read a review, I generally like to hear a little bit more about a lot more of the songs. If there is something you like, what it is it. If there's something you don't like, what it is, and kind of go from there. I mean, the three of us have done so many reviews and stuff for albums and a lot of new albums, new music, new bands. We tend to just give our honest opinions. So I guess I just kind of wanted to have a quick chat. He got very vocal. He wrote his own review about the reviewer's review, gave him 2.5 stars, and really kind of chewed him out for it. Which I get it. You're an artist. He's very passionate. I'll give him that. But is that the place to do it? I mean, it's blowing up kind of on social media. I would assume like publicity stunt or what. I mean, the writer's probably getting a lot of the online webzines probably getting a lot of action around this, good or bad. Michael Sweet's kind of pissed off about it. So people are torn. There's a lot of, oh, we love the album. There's a lot of people that aren't that keen on it. What do you guys think? Do you guys think this is, I think all good or bad, this is going to work out good for both parties, I think. I mean, you're going to get a lot of people reading the review, checking out the magazine, the webzine, and you're going to get a lot of people probably spinning the album to see what all the hubbub's about. What do you guys think? Billy.
The reviews. Okay, go ahead, Billy.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, you go ahead, Ken. You already started.
Ken. Sorry.
No, I was only going to say that I did read a lot of reviews on the weekend on YouTube, and there seems to be a lot of people digging it. So that's a good thought. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm kind of ambivalent about it. Like I like the classic Stryper. The new stuff is all right, but the last 2 or 3 albums, it's been heavily into the whole Christian, the whole kind of Christian thing, and it's all right, but I don't know.
What do you think of him like taking on, like going out, and do you think that's cool? I think it's kind of,
no,
I don't know if I like that.
No, I don't like it either. And he's a Christian. So, I like, it doesn't look good on you. It doesn't look good on your core values. Like you're turning around and yelling at people. Like maybe what you're saying, Jim, maybe it's a scam. Maybe he's doing it to kind of like get people interested in his music, but you shouldn't have to do that. Your music should speak for itself.
Yeah.
I mean, when he did that crossover thing with George Lynch, I never heard Lynch once say anything negative. He's like, yeah, they got this. We're doing this crossover thing with the two of us, and I liked it. I actually thought it was pretty decent. So I don't understand why you can't just make music, play it, get it out there. And if someone doesn't like your music, well, that's too bad for you. Like, suck it up, Buttercup. That's my only comments. Like, dude, relax. Yeah. Music is not going to appeal to everyone. That's just the bottom line.
What about you, Billy?
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of the same thing, right? I mean, he has a long history of, not being able to take like, whether it be constructive criticism or criticism. I don't know, this is kind of a bit more of it, right? Like to go out of your way and take the initiative to repost a review and just basically say this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And I hear you, Jim, right? Like I guess all publicity's good. But I think we were talking offline, right? There's probably with the time he wastes and the energy he wastes on this kind of negative stuff, he could probably find as many new fans by focusing on the positive. And like you were saying earlier, Jim, like, instead of people who are raving about the album going out and congratulating them or, posting, hey, thanks for that, he's just focused on all the negative and can't get past it, right? It's
Yeah.
just a bad look. It's a bad look for the band. He represents the band. So at the end of the day, like I kind of see all that, and it actually doesn't make me want to listen to it in a way. It makes me just want to ignore it. So I
You
don't
know,
know.
and in all fairness, I listen to a ton of metal like you guys do. I listened to his album twice just to give it a fair shake. And I would rate it, a 5.5, a 6 out of 10. I wouldn't go any lower than that. It's not my thing, so I'm kind of not the guy that would be the guy doing the review for it. I would rather, review the new Satan album. Kind of funny, Stryper and Satan, but
Yeah.
I would rather do that. It's more my thing, and I can talk a little bit more to it. There's some ballady stuff on there I'm not keen on, but music wise, it's not bad. It's just not my thing, and I think I mean the guy was doing it. There's a lot of critique out there. Did he even listen to the album? And I don't think that's necessarily fair. It was a short review. I would have liked it, but I mean, then would have he been more negative? I mean, do you want this to continue on? He wasn't totally negative. The first part of the review was fairly good for him, and then just kind of teetered off. I mean, maybe he scored it low because he's not into it, or maybe this came across his desk and he wasn't jazzed up about it. But I know the guy that was doing it, I can't recall his name, had his resume there spoke of he worked for many publications for many years. So, but I mean, I guess it just comes down to it's art, it's subjective, and everybody's got an opinion.
Yep.
Very true.
Yeah, yeah.
Very
Anyways,
true.
well, we got that out of the way. So anyhow, that's what I've got.